I played 200 hours of Necromancer and can say without a doubt, it's the most fun gameplay experience with any character I've tried out. But there are also issues. Let's talk about the truth about Necromancer, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we'll start with the bad and then slowly move over to the things that I really love. Heads up, in this, I've been playing Minion Necromancer more or less from 1 to 85, but I tried out Shadow, Bone, Spirit, Blood, everything. Before we go into the negatives, can I say Necromancer has one of the most satisfying skill ever called Corpse Tendrils? Just pulling everything together, resetting your cooldown, doing it again, pulling everything together, resetting your cooldown, doing it again. Oh God, it's probably one of the most pleasing skills to just simply use of mass destruction. Let's begin with the most annoying thing in existence with Necromancer. Leveling it from 1 to 50 is extremely fun and satisfying, especially when you're playing Minion, until you meet someone that has Suppressor, and you're gonna learn how annoying minions can feel. Right now, what is missing is any kind of command to point your minions in a direction to actually walk there, because they're following you around, they're running around, but they're not really focusing or attacking what you do. So even if you want to kill that one elite on the left, your minions want to kill like Jimothy, Jim Bob, Jebediah Jones, who's like running around in the other room. I mean, they'll kind of follow you if you run far enough. But as soon as someone has Suppressor and your skeleton mages start pounding into that shield until you take the Suppressor minion to walk onto your skeleton mages, there is some pain involved there of really not being able to direct your minions anywhere. Just a simple key press, Blizzard. Where's your problem? I can bind it on J, K, L, Q, mouse 4, whatsoever. Just walk there or attack that. A simple press of a button. Thank you. That would get rid of literally every single frustration I have with this class at this point, to be honest. Now, everyone will say Necromancer is slow compared to minions. Can't compete. You can't get until level XYZ with Necromancers, and also level 80 plus Nightmare Dungeons, you'll never get that done. Well, heads up, chat. First and foremost, comparing a class to something makes absolutely virtual no sense. The only metric that matters when we're talking about Diablo 4 builds, classes, and everything is fun per minute. How much fun can you actually have playing a class? Yes, Necromancer might be slow compared to a rogue speed roguing through, or a Whirlwind Barbarian doing their Whirlwind Barbarian stuff, overpowered Druid, what's so not sits. But we also have fast builds. We have the Bone Spear. We have a full Shadow build zooming with the Infinity Mist. And minions are just an incredible joy to play. So if you are a casual gamer mom, gamer dad, and you're essentially competing only with yourself, and maybe your friend Harry, who's hardcoring around, what does it matter if you're slow or fast compared to something that has zero influence on your own enjoyment of the game? What does it matter if there is someone out grinding you because he's doing Champion Demise 24/7 while you're actually enjoying the game? And that's where the Necromancer gameplay loop is extremely satisfying, and especially the leveling is incredible fun. There's a huge variety of things to go for. Most of you probably started with Bone Splinters, but you can always go for Reap, Decompose as an option, and yes, Hemorrhage also works plenty well, because if we're looking for your core skills, I've been using most of the time Blight. But we also know that Bone Spear is an absolute extreme staple. You can just go through, crit everyone down. There's someone that killed Uber Lilith, what was it, in 5 seconds with Bone Spear doing millions of damage? Whatever, 6 million, 5 million. Beautiful. Then again, Blood Surge, an overpowered Necromancer, super good. And Blood Lens. Okay, Blood Lens is bad. Like, seriously, I haven't seen a single good Blood Lens build. It's bad. And then there's Sever as well, and especially Sever can be played together with your minions to even boost your damage, or quite fun. Now, there's one big complaint, obviously, about Corpse Explosion, and then as you go into the second tier, Corpse Explosion itself as not Shadow skill. Super satisfying. I mean, you see a corpse, you press the button, the sound, that thing goes up, everything around it dies, and just you feel almighty and powerful, it goes through your veins of being like this master of life and death. Then you choose the Bloody Corpse Explosion, and it's kind of like, I'm blind. Heads up, there's something you can do if you blind yourself, and I use this gameplay, and then you scroll down, and it's called Display Player Highlight. And what you do is you actually put a highlight around your player that no matter how corpse explosioning you are, you can at least see your own character. Yes, it was still blind, and yes, they're working on an update to that, and yes, your friend will hate you. But again, most of us are playing alone, and we just want to see our own character, at least that. And it's just so efficient, so use it. Getting to the curse tier can feel extremely underwhelming, because the curses, they just get on the board and that's it. They don't sound crazy. I mean, Iron Maiden, people take damage hitting you. To Crapify, people get slowed and do less damage. I mean, like, you level up here and you get some points for, you know, damage, and you get stronger. You make your minions stronger, which can also feel a little bit lackluster because you're not really getting anything out of it. But you get to the curse tier and you're like, well, that being said, do not underestimate Decrepify, which I did. Because as soon as you hit the abhorrent Decrepify, enemies hit while afflicted with Decrepify have to have 15% chance to reduce your active cooldowns. You'll notice this is an absolute mental skill. It will feel absolutely underwhelming at first when you get it, but as soon as you get a bit further into the game and also meet big packs of mobs and suddenly get your cooldowns reset to 0 by using one single corpse explosion, corpse tendrils, Crapify, corpse explosion, boom, corpse tendrils down to 0 seconds. Use it straight up again, perma stun, beautiful. Iron Maiden feels very underwhelming until you get enhanced Iron Maiden and you can actually make essence while using Iron Maiden, which is incredibly well for the Blood Surge build and helps you to just fly to the first 50 levels like there's no tomorrow. Has a little bit of a detrimental effect in the long run, but still with a Thorns build works plenty well. And then you're finally getting to the most amazing tier, and that is here, the Corpse Skills Macabre, the tier 4, I guess, the 1, 2, 3, 4, well, I'll say tier 5, I guess. And that's where you get Corpse Tendrils, which is obviously absolutely, like we talked about, is beautiful. You just pull things together, you make them vulnerable, you slow them down. This skill does virtually everything you ever wanted it to be. Or if you're playing blood, you heal more, you quadruple your damage, and then you double your damage, and then you also fortify on top of it. Like, this is just where you start, like, you see the possibilities of what Necromancer can do. You read through Bone Spirit and it's like, okay, that's 4,000 damage, and for each point of essence I use, the damage gets tripled. Oh, that sounds like we could nuke some things with a one hit. And yes, you can totally nuke some things with a one hit. I mean, some people on high nightmare dungeons just absolutely obliterate stuff with a full Bone Spirit super crits, which brings us to the bone skills here next to it. I mean, like, being able to just every 100 essence you spend reduce cooldowns. Yeah, cool. Critical striking with bone skills. Your bone skills did increase damage. Multiplicative, beautiful. Same goes for Shadow, faster, stronger, even stronger. And then you get to ultimates and you're back to, I've seen my druid friend play, and he used his storm ultimate, and it literally wrecked everyone. It absolutely destroyed the board. I've seen some rogues. I've used my grizzly rampage too, and they all feel so good. Then you get Army of the Dead, and yeah, sure, you get some volatile skeletons going around and exploding, and they can leave behind corpses, and they raise your skeletons, and then you just notice how terrible this skill is. I made a build that had this on perma cooldown, essentially. Like, I used it 4 times in a fight. No damage. No damage. Same goes for Blood Wave. Conjure a Tidal Blood Wave that deals 6,000 damage and knocks back enemies. I mean, like, sure, you can make it slow, and you can make it believe 3 orbs, and you can make it double wave, and you can turn it into shadow, but still it's kind of like, yikes. Bone Storm, it's probably the only one that feels good because it goes around you and your golem, and you might have read some tooltips, but it says golems there, so in the long run we might get more than one golem, maybe with sense. And it can also damage reduction and increase your critical strike chance, so it does feel plenty good. So there's 1 out of 3 skills that feels good, and the rest just feel virtually useless, especially when you're trying to go for the minion master route, and you can't actually take would make you a super minion master. I mean, being able to boost your minions is quite nice, and then you have Memento, and you have Hellbound Commander, and actually don't stand close to your minions, so that's boop. But then again, the key passives of the Necromancer feel absolutely brilliant. Shadow Blind, super strong. Bone makes absolute sense. Rathmas Vigor, perfect for a blood build. And then you see Callan's Edict again, you're like, if you have not taken damage in the last 3 seconds. Wait, let me think about playing higher nightmare dungeons, even if I stand completely away from my minions. Yeah, I always take some form of damage. Might it be a stray hit from a minion? Might it be a fire enchanted dude? Might it be a lightning enchanted guy? You always take one single point anywhere. They get 15 plus attack speed. They don't even get a multiplicative attack speed. They don't even ramp up. They don't even get... I mean, you get 30% plus attack speed. Not even like multiplying with all the other minion attack speed you can get to really truly make a great minion experience where they go like absolute rapid fire super cannons. Where you could say this is great. I mean, not compared to Rathma's Vigor, where you overpower and literally can deal 100,000 damage instead of doing 10,000. Where your Blood Mist can turn into like an absolute... I delete half of the HP of every single elite in a pack and all the normal minions die. No, you get plus 30% attack speed with 7 plus minions up. Clippity clappity. No matter how weak millions, though, can feel, and that you actually have to play Shadow, Bone, or Blood to actually complement them. Having your skeletons run around and walk in, and then use bonus skills to supplement your skeletons and kill everything together, you know, with your army of darkness as friends, is just a satisfying feeling. The whole art of the Necromancer is just great. Like the basic armors, I am not even considering to buy a skin. I mean, look at my vibes. I'm the Golden Emperor of Death. Being able to pull everyone together, make them vulnerable, see some big crits, have fun. Even without using bone spears, see big enough crits. Having like the Blood Mist and being able to have Blood Mist explode corpses, leave behind a trail of shadow, get out of jail free card. Sure, you're slower. You're not a speed demon zooming, but hell, you're also a necromancer. I don't want to be speed demon zooming. I don't want to bounce around. I'm 34. I'm sorry. I feel old at times. You know, I have children. I'm happy to take it a bit slower, to not have to spam my movement skill, to bounce from minion to left to right, to dodge out, to make sure that I'm not too squishy. No, I fortify completely. Like, I was just in there and I have 10,000 fortify running. I'm fortified. I take less damage. I'm an unstopping calamity that rolls over the battlefield, that explodes everything in its way. By the way, farming PvP zones is actually very efficient. I mean, there's elites. I stand back, corpse tendrils, pull everyone together, reset my cooldowns, pull everyone together again, explode everything with my corpse explosions, bone spears, bone spirit, what's so on. Get a legendary that has... Oh, consuming a corpse increases damage to your next corpse skill. Useless. Apart from if you're playing bone spear, maybe. So it's just the whole act of playing the Necromancer is extremely satisfying. And that's only my minion Necro. Have you actually ever tested Blood Necro? That's Adward. Looks fantastic, doesn't it? Goes for full overpower damage. And if you just want to have a peek at the depth of Necromancer, let me tell you all the different builds. I mean, this is Blood Overpower, which can be played completely solo. You can play Blood Overpower with a Golem, Blood Overpower with minions, and Death Speaker Pendant on the Blood Surge Super Explosion. You can play a Shadow Necromancer. You can play Shadow Infinimist. You can also play Shadow Bone Storm with minions or without minions. Then you can, again, make a full Shadow minion build. And here, this is me just going for corpse tendrils, explosions, ramping up my overpower, and literally overpowering everyone in an area around me. I mean, compared to the Shadow Necromancer, where you're, you know, slowly whittling down your opponents until you get the big crits. Then you make essence and you kill everything in your area. It's incredibly satisfying to play. You know, you're this undying calamity together with your golem, and yeah, they you know, your essence is out. Use your tendrils to pull everything together, and then nuke him again with these super overpowers. Oh, did I say there's more builds? Well, you also have Bone Spear, and you have Bone Spirit. Then you have Bone Spirit that really only uses Bone Spirit, runs around and gets them in. I mean, I've come up with 12 potential different builds. You can play full Thorns builds as well. You can play the Thorns build with Golem only, and you can play the Thorns build with Skeletons. You notice, if you choose Necromancer as your class, you're not merely stuck with playing one thing. Yes, it is very annoying to swap over later on to a different build, and it's very something like, oh man, like getting down to the Paragon board and reskilling everything can be, oh god, let's do this. Oh, that was an overpower. Can be incredible pain. Let's pull them all together before they keep hurting me. So they're stunned for a short second. Use my potions, get essence back. Use my golem, which I've been completely missing out on. See, finally took a little bit longer to kill a pack. It's good. You know, you're not broken. Far from it, to be honest. But you're just zooming through content. And let's be real. What was it? 90% haven't done the campaign yet? Yeah, because people are trying to take their time and have fun and experience the game. Doesn't matter that your build is not able to do Nightmare Dungeon 80 plus or even beat Uber Lilith. No, that does not matter at all in any singular way, because 90%, I bet to say 95% of the community will never reach 100 anytime soon, will never touch Uber Lilith or even try higher Nightmare Dungeons. Higher Nightmare Dungeons are frustration pure. You die to the most random shit. You need to actually constantly focus and pay attention. Nightmare 30s, for example, super chill. You level up. It's exactly in your level range. It's the experience you have to gain. If you really want to grind to level 100, you never have to do higher nightmares. The as high as you have to go later is Nightmare 50 to get level 100. But in order to get to 100, you do 30, 31, 32, 34. And I gotta be honest, with my minion Necromancer, my minions die not at all. The survivability is S tier. And if I play a 31, 32, 33, 40, I don't have to pay attention. I can just zoom through, blast through, have fun. Yeah, there might be the one or two close calls, but it's not like this constant dreading for life. You know, the actual way to have fun. Especially when your toddler's running around the room, where your wife wants something, your husband wants something from you. You have to pause the game quickly. You have to go back and forth. You know, you can't just be sweating your nuts off in a Nightmare 60, 70 and pay attention and make the best. No. You know, the casual, fun gameplay experience. I know there are hardcore grinders out there, and every build and everything you see and everything you play has to be able to do the highest content possible, but that's not 90% of the player base. And I do believe that Necromancer is truly the character for the casual. Yes, the others are all good. Everyone, you can play every character as a casual player, but the Necromancer just has so much to offer, has a breadth of variety, but it's also so easy to learn. It has very nice skill rotations that are fun to do, and the Necromancer itself is absolutely visually pleasing. The abilities are great. That the whole character class is just so much fun. Agree or disagree? Share your thoughts, your feelings, your hurts, your whatsoevers. You can see I'm an absolute Necromancer lover, and I'll 100% play Necromancer as Season 1 gets released. And yes, there's a new 1 to 50 guide coming with everything I've learned in the past 200 hours, with the betas, with the closed betas, with everything of playing the Necromancer. The good thing is, technically you don't need a single unique to make Necromancer work compared to other classes which constantly need uniques. Even the Ring of Mendon is an option to play, but it's not 100% necessary. If you're now looking to play that summoner or the Blood Surge monster, there's your guides. Check it out. Enjoy. Drop in the comments below what you think about the Necromancer and the state of Diablo in general. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to me.